Hello, I'm Lincoln Whitaker. I'm the instructional technology resource teacher for Pulaski County Public Schools, and I've been asked to give a presentation on Canvas and virtual learning. So let's go ahead and get started by asking, what is Canvas? Well, Canvas is a web-based learning management system. It's used by learning institutions, educators, and students to access and manage online course learning materials and communicate about skill development and learning achievement. Canvas includes a variety of customizable course creation and management tools, course and user analytics and statistics, and internal communication tools. So what? That probably doesn't mean much to everyone out there. So I'd like to break this down into a much simpler form and then maybe give an analogy of what Canvas is. So let's go ahead and start with the simplest form. Canvas is an online learning program, and it's going to allow teachers to create and present online content through various mediums. So teachers aren't just typing in text like they're doing a web page. Canvas is more interactive than that. They can put in text, but they can also put in audio files, or they can put in video files, or link websites. So there are lots of different ways they can get content to students. Canvas also allows teachers to deliver assessments in various ways. We have to see if the kids got what we taught them, and the assessments are the way that we do that. Canvas allows us to do this in an online format if we choose. But one of the more interesting things that I've seen so far, a trigonometry teacher actually sent out problems to their students through Canvas, and the students actually worked it out on paper. And then when they were done, instead of entering it back in through the computer, they just held up the piece of paper in the Canvas studio and took a picture of it. And that's how the teacher got their work. I know it seems rather simplistic, but that worked very well. And I think it made everyone a little more comfortable who was in that course. So there are lots of ways for teachers and students to go back and forth on assessments here. Canvas also allows the opportunity for teachers and students to give and receive feedback. That's one of the most important things in my mind, is giving students feedback about what they got right and what they got wrong and how they can improve. And it also allows students to have class discussions within Canvas. So there are lots of ways for us to use this program to facilitate discussion amongst students and teachers. Another way of looking at Canvas is thinking about it as your basic reliable cars that instructors are going to operate, and they're going to transport their students to a learning destination. All the parts in the car work together to make the vehicle move. All the parts of Canvas have to work together to deliver content and assess. Now, just like a car, you're not going to need to use all of the parts at the same time, but each one is equally important for the operator of that car to know how to use. So, what if we want more than a basic car? What if we want white wall tires and rims? What if we need fuzzy dice? Well, Canvas does have customizable pieces to it, and it will give teachers and students a better overall experience. And some of the examples that we have in our instance currently are Google. We have been working with teachers on creating Google assignments for 2+ years now. And one of the things that I've heard from teachers when we started to make this change is, oh no, Google Classroom's gone. Well, Google Classroom was our old car. Canvas is our new car. But all those things that you had in your old car, let's say Google Docs was your floor mat, or Google Slides was your seat cover. All that can get moved into the new car, and it works very well there. We tested it out this weekend, in fact, and it worked really great. So another aspect or add-on to Canvas is the Canvas Studio, and this is going to allow teachers and students to do screencasts if they're on a PC, or if they're on a Chromebook, they can record via their webcam. But this is one of those add-ons that's going to make Canvas a little more special and easier, not so much to say easier, but more robust for students and teachers to use. Discovery Education, we've had this in the county for a long time. And it turns out that Discovery Ed and Canvas work very well together. In fact, we can sync the two up, and teachers can deliver the DE content, those videos, those images, all of the things that are in Discovery Education can go through Canvas. The Read Speaker app is in the Virtual Virginia instances for students. And right now it's not in ours, but it is coming very soon. The Virtual Virginia trainings that I participated in have had the Read Speaker, and I found it quite helpful because Virtual Virginia content seems to be very text based in a lot of ways. And this really helps students who have a hard time reading, or if you're just like me and you start to glaze over after you've read page after page, listening to it becomes much, much more pleasant than just reading through all the material. So let's talk about the fuel that powers our learning inside of Canvas, and that's our course content. So the fuel for our courses is going to be Virtual Virginia. Without that content, the car isn't going to go anywhere. It's just going to be a shell. Now, that said, Virtual Virginia for K-8 is a new thing, and they're building it out, but teachers are going to be encouraged to generate their own content to supplement what's already in Virtual Virginia. Where I taught seventh grade, there already is some seventh grade material in there, but as a teacher, I would want to have my own content in there as well. And Canvas does allow both the Virtual Virginia and the teacher-generated content to work together in the system. So now that we've talked about the car and what's powering it, let's talk about the driver and the passengers. So let's start with the drivers. There are teachers, and they need training too. So our version of Driver's Ed is an online PD called Growing with Canvas. Now, Growing with Canvas trains teachers on how to operate the Canvas learning management system by teaching them course design by using modules. That's a real simple sentence there, but there's a whole lot to it. Modules contain, all of the information. They contain the course activities. They contain the assignments. They contain the discussion and the quizzes. And one of the things that teachers were worried about, or I was worried about when I first saw this, was, well, what happens to that student who races through? Turns out we can actually program those modules to either stop after a student has gotten so far or have prerequisites. So a student can't just rush through it. They have to actually go through certain sequences, get things correct, or upload or participate in whatever way the teacher deems appropriate for this course. One thing that's going to make this remote learning work that we'll talk about in the PD a little bit too is meaningful online interaction with students, responding to the students through the comment section, through the discussions. That's what makes it work for me anyway, when I was in the classroom, was relationships. And there are ways to develop these relationships online through communicating with the students on Canvas. So now that our students or that our teachers have been taken care of, we need to talk about the passengers. And some training is going to be necessary for the students as well. Students who are attending school remotely, they're going to be able to access the internet. So that'll be in there, and we'll have to show them, how to hit their Wi-Fi, that type of thing. Also, students will have to be able to log into their Pulaski County issued Chromebook, or if their parents have a comparable device, a PC or a laptop, they can use that as well. The only caveat there being, they'll need to have something like Google Chrome or Firefox or Microsoft Edge, but an up-to-date web browser. Canvas can also be accessed through the Pulaski County Public Schools website, and that will be up for students at the beginning of the school year. This will make make access much easier for students who are using a Chromebook, because if they're signed into the Chromebook through their Pulaski County credentials, then all they'll have to do is go to our website and they'll click right in. No username, no password to remember. They're just in, and that's going to be very helpful for them. But we're going to have to train them and show them where that is, and help them troubleshoot any problems that may arise. So in closing, we've said it over and over again that these times are unprecedented. We're doing things for education that we never dreamed we would have to do. But in the big view, we're building a road here now, and this online education is a piece of it. So we can allow students to continue with their education even if school closes. I thank you for your time, and I hope for the school board members that if you're interested in seeing the professional development that we're rolling out to teachers, we started that on August 4th, let me know, and we'll put you in there so you can see what they're doing as well. Hope everyone has a great evening.